Richician!
Well, here we are, the sixth and final part and the true series finale of the top hated series. And as you can see, we're starting with another arch nemesis deck, Endymion. Yep, we got there eventually. Now, there's not much I can say about Endymion that I haven't said already, but for those who don't know, I hate Endymion because it does nothing but either OTK or lock down my deck with a board of negates, just like Pendulum Magicians. Like, it's no better than Pendulum Magicians, and it's technically more annoying. Like, I mean, like I said before, like, Endymion, the Mighty Master of Magic, is both an OTK enabler and a Dark Bribe on legs with fuck all weaknesses. Like, if I'm not being OTK'd, then Endymion just negates half my deck, while Jackal King and Appaloosa negate the other half, which is just infuriating. Not to mention, it also plays Floodgates just to add insult to injury, like ranging from Necro Valley, Secret Village, and Magician's Right Hand, just to add insult to bloody injury. Like, it's one of those lockdown / control decks that just seems to have an answer for everything. Like, even most outs to annoying decks just don't work that well against it. Nibiru will just get negated if I try and do it while Jackal King's on the field. It has multiple ways to stop Dark Ruler no more. There's either Spellbook of Wisdom can be chained to protect Endymion, or like Magician's Right Hand can just outright negate it, no pun intended, or Secret Village can just prevent its activation. Like, same with Super Polymerization. Like, I can't activate it if Secret Village is on the field, and Magician's Right Hand is the only card in the game that can negate Super Poly's effect. Which is kind of ridiculous, because it just defeats the whole point of Super Poly's strength, being that nothing can stop it. But yeah, there is that technicality where, while Right Hand can't negate the initial activation, it can still stop Super Poly's effect resolving, which is just absolute bullshit. So it's like, there's just no way to beat Endymion except with Kaijus and Raw Sphere mode. So yeah, there's just fuck all ways to overcome the deck. Unless, of course, I'm playing Destiny Heroes and just have the right hand to be able to bring out DPE, or even Plasma. It was just a case of having the right cards when I needed them, but every other time I just struggle a lot against Endymion, and I got so fed up of it that it became one of the reasons why I stopped playing in tournaments, to specifically get away from it so I don't have to deal with it anymore. Because what's the point in trying to play against it if I can't play, you know? Just saying. Number 9, Barrier Statue Stun, like another troll deck. Yeah, it's an archetype full of cards that shut down special summons, and I fucking hate it a lot. Like, as I've said before, I don't like being denied my special summons. Like, I wish barrier statues just didn't exist. Like outside of their own archetype, they're just annoying. Look at the wind one, which would always come out because of the Samorg link. Thank God that's banned. Even though I've only encountered this deck once, it was just fucking bullshit and annoying to play against. Like, even just having only 2 on the field means no special summons at all. I mean, luckily I was able to overcome them, but it wasn't easy. Like, it was thanks to Fiendish Chain being used on one of them, making an Honor Arc to attack over, and then just and then I actually won the match through end of match procedure. Yeah, because this was a tournament game, so I got lucky there. But that doesn't mean I'd want to play against it again. Like, fuck that. I don't ever want to encounter this deck again. Oh, and did I mention that it also runs Moon Mirror Shield, so that nothing can attack over any of the barrier statues? Yeah, stupid bullshit. Troll deck is stupid and bullshit. Number 8, Psy Frames. Another of those decks that just only exists to piss everyone off. It plays too many negates, which are their hand traps, and too many cheap shot banish cards. Again, it can play Macro and D-Fissure, and it also has that stupid trap card, Limit Overload. No, Psy Frame Overload, which banishes a card just like that. And then of course there's the field spell to allow them to synchro summon right away. Like, Omega and Zeta are just disruptive as fuck. Like, there's not a lot of ways to counter them really, and it's annoying. Of course, that being said, last time I played against Psy Frames, or 2 out of 3 of the last times I played against it, I did actually beat them with a floodgate that I genuinely do like, Mind Drain. Because with Mind Drain on the field, they basically can't play and can't go off, unless of course they banish it off Overload. But yeah, it helped me out big time, and like, I'd love to be able to main or side it, even just to specifically counter Ash Blossom or Droll Lockbird. That is, if I was still playing in tournaments. I mean, yeah, there are better ways to stop hand traps, like Call by the Grave, but Mind Drain is still a fun option, especially when it fucks over Psy Frames. Yeah, that's all there is to it, really. Number 7, Amorphages. Now, I did already talk about them when I did my top 5 hated pendulum video, but I guess I'll go over it again. Like, again, it's an archetype that only exists to piss everyone off, because it does nothing but stop anyone from playing the game. I was slightly incorrect, because last time I said they have cards that negate certain things, but I was corrected. They're actually cards that stop certain cards being activated, but you know, I was close enough. It's near enough the same thing. Yeah, they have cards that stop monster effects, spells, traps, unless there are Morphages, their own version of Thunder King, their own version of Macro, and they all share the same monster effect, which is just locking anyone out of extra deck, monsters, except Amorphages. Like, it's so fucking annoying. And it just slows games down too much, and it just stalls them out for purposeless reasons. And sure, the pendulums require maintenance costs of either an Amorphage or just any monster, but that means nothing considering it's a pendulum archetype and they can just keep coming back again and again. And of course it can play Scapegoat just to provide generic tribute fodder to keep them on the field. That's really all there is to it. There's nothing else to say about them, and nothing I can say that I've not said already. Number 6, Paleozoic Frog. Like another deck that only exists to piss everyone off. Like, because it plays too many disruptive traps, regardless of whether it's a floodgate or not, and then there's totally arsehole, which just negates everything. And it's just too easy to bring out, and even if it does go to the grave, it keeps recycling itself and coming back again and again, and it's so annoying. Like, seriously, why won't this deck just die in a fire? Like, nobody likes Paleozoic Frog, like, except anyone who plays them, of course. Like, they're just infuriating. They really are. Like, I'm just thankful that they can't play Imperial Order anymore, but there are other annoying floodgates that they can play, like Anti-Spell, Mystic Mine. Oh yeah, and there's another deck that plays Ash Blossom. Like, there's just too many negates and too many disruptions and too many stun cards. Like, it's just, again, what's the point in even playing against them if you can't fucking play, you know? Like, and like, this was another reason why I ended up quitting tournaments. Like, that's how fed up I was of it. And yeah, that's all there is to it. Number 5, generic Antimatter. Basically, that deck that plays Fossil Diner to shut down special summons, Banisher of the Radiance to shut down the graveyard, Thunder King to shut down searches, and Doom Caliber Knight to just stop monster effects. As well as a whole bunch of traps that negate summons, effects, and attacks. So fucking annoying, like, but at least it can't play Royal Oppression anymore. Like, fingers crossed that bastard card never comes back. But, yeah, it's just not fun to play against, and I'm not even playing meta, and yet I've struggled against this deck in the past. Like, it just really pissed me off, both in tournament play and casual play. It just stopped me from doing anything. Of course, at least with Doom Caliber Knight, it has to negate the first monster effect, but which made it a lot easier to deal with than the other 3 main annoying monsters. Like, I even remember I started main decking Snowman Eater, like, back then. Oh, and I was playing Legendary Hero at the time, and I put it in just to specifically destroy, like, Thunder King, Fossil Diner, and Banisher. It's like, Like, I need to be able to search, use my graveyard, and special summon to win. Otherwise, I can't play. Like, there's fuck all I can do. Like, I'm surprised this deck isn't seeing a lot more play today. Or maybe it is, but I just don't notice it. Especially considering I don't play in tournaments anymore. Yeah, this deck just really pissed me off. Like, almost every time I played against it, I just auto lost. Although I did beat it eventually, though. But now I just never want to play against it again. It's like, fuck playing against decks that don't let anyone play. Speaking of, number 4, Altergeists. Like, another lockdown archetype that I really wish didn't exist. Like, seriously, fuck Altergeists and everything they stand for. Again, it plays too many negates and disruptions, and it just only exists to piss everyone off. Like, how can anyone say they're fun? It's like, no, they're really not. Like, and it's another lockdown deck that just has an answer for everything. Like, you've got Hexia, my most hated link monster, which just negates half my deck. You've got one of their trap cards, which just negates monster effects, Silquitous to bounce one of my cards, and another Altergeist at any time on either player's turn, plus Linkaribo to make sure attacks don't get through. And then of course there's Secret Village, the only spell that they play, unless it plays Magician's Right Hand as well, I'm not sure. So yeah, no spells. Like, it's just infuriating. This deck is absolute fucking bullshit. Oh yeah, and it's got other floodgates as well. Like, it did have Imperial Order when it was legal, but thankfully it can't play that anymore. But it can play other floodgates, like Anti-Spell, Rivalry of the Warlords. So yeah, I wasn't lying when I said it plays too many negates and disruptions and just seems to have an answer for everything. Like, it only exists to piss everyone else off. And yet, it hardly ever got hit on the ban list. I mean, Multi-Faker did get limited in 2019, but it didn't really make much difference. Plus, that change was irrelevant considering that a year later it went back to 3, which I was not happy about. Like, what was Konami thinking? In fact, what were they thinking, making this deck exist in the first place? Yeah. Like, I know I'm just repeating myself, but it's just such a stupid, bullshit, unfair deck that ruins the game for everyone else. Like, and that's all I got to say. Number 3, Evil Swarms, purely because Ophion exists. High-level decks that play high-level monsters just outright auto-lose to it, including my signature 3 decks, which is just painful. Like, literally, all Evil Swarms just ever fucking do is just summon Ophion, search for Infestation Pandemic, set it along with lots of other traps that negate something, and then that's it. It's they just basically get a free win that way. Unless, of course, they're playing against a deck that doesn't play any high-level monsters, like Raid Raptors, Gadgets, Madolche's BA, Dragon Link, question mark, your Senjus, yeah, Ophion's just been a thorn in my side back when Evil Swarms were seeing lots of play. I'm just thankful that nobody seems to be playing them right now, as there's lots of Xyz and Link decks, which Ophion does nothing against, so hopefully it stays that way, but still, it's become one of my most hated decks of all time, and is in the top 3. Number 2, Counter Fairies, or should I say Gunter Fairies, because yeah, this is a gunt of a deck. Like, it does what it says on the tin, like, it counters everything that's thrown at it with their counter traps. Like you just can't do shit against them. Like, try and activate anything, negate. Try and do a summon, negate. Which makes it hard to believe that this deck struggles against 1800 and 1900 beat sticks, which is what someone told me a while ago. But they just have outs to them, which, like I said, is either summon negation, and it plays honest just to protect their bountiful Artemises or whoever. Like, there's just literally no way to beat them. Like, it's impossible. And I hate that it got a structure deck which gave it more support. Like, it doesn't fucking deserve it. Like, really, the only way to beat them is with Raw Decree, but you have to be able to go first, and you need to draw it in your opening hand. So if you do, then you're all good. Then the deck's dead. They can't do jack shit. But otherwise, like, it's just an annoying, cheap, easy win deck. I mean, sure, you may have a chance against it if you're going first, but there's no guarantee you'll win the match. Like, again, it's just one of those decks where there's just no point playing against it, because it just negates everything. Fuck Counter Fairies. And finally, in at number 1, my most hated deck in the entire game is Herald. Like, whether it's Herald of Perfection being used or Herald of Ultimate, this deck is the most annoying, degenerate deck in the entire game. Yeah, all it ever does is just bring out Herald and just get a free win. And the negation effect isn't even once per turn, and they stack multiple times in the same chain, because, yeah, that's completely fair. Yeah, they've become my 2 most hated rituals in the game. Just why did they have to be made? Like, they only exist just to piss everyone off, and I hate that nothing's been done about them. Like, and yet people try and defend it by saying that the deck bricks and is inconsistent, but I find that really hard to believe, considering there's so many ways to search out the appropriate ritual cards. And yeah, it can brick, but not always, because as I said earlier, bricking doesn't always happen, and it means nothing, because anyone can brick with any deck, and I just don't think it's a valid reason to like have a deck stay around. Like, I mean, sure, if Herald bricks, it's easy to beat, but if it doesn't, like, it always wins. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. But yeah, there's nothing I can really say that I haven't said already when I talked about Herald in both my top 10 hated card video and top 5 hated ritual monster video. So yeah, there we have it. That is my full list of all my most hated decks in the entire game. Thank you for watching, if you stayed through to the very end. I mean, if you agree with me about any of these decks, cool, fantastic. If you don't, then, well, that's your opinion. I mean, we don't have to agree on everything, but, you know, these are my opinions, and nothing will change my mind about absolutely any of these decks. Like, they've all just made my dueling life a misery over the years in different ways, and you know, I can't help but hate them. Like, and I just wish they never existed. That's all there is to it. Anyway, that's all for this. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Richician YouTube channel.